Kwesuka Sukela. Once upon a time, there lived a woman named Mansandaba and her husband Zenzele. They lived in a traditional home in a small Zulu village. At night, they sat around their open fire with their many children. "Mama," the children cried, "Sifuna izindaba. We want stories. Tell us some stories, Mother." Mansandaba would think and think, but she and Zenzele did not know any stories. They asked their neighbors, but their neighbors did not know any stories. They listened to the wind, but the wind did not know any stories. There were no stories anywhere. Mansandaba did not know any stories. So she kissed her husband and children goodbye and left her home to find some stories. Mansandaba decided to ask every animal she met if they knew any stories. She asked each animal. Some were kind, but some were not kind at all. Some of the animals lied to her and said they had stories they would not share. Other animals tried to help her by giving advice. But none of the animals had any stories for Mansandaba. Finally, a big sea turtle offered to take Mansandaba to the spirit people under the sea. She held on to the turtle's shell very tightly until she reached the very bottom of the ocean. The spirit people agreed to give Mansandaba stories if she would give them a picture of her home on the dry land. Mansandaba gave them the picture. They gave her a large, beautiful shell. They told her, "Whenever you want a story, just hold this shell to your ear, and you will have one." When Mansandaba returned to land, her children asked her, "Sifuna izindaba. We want stories. Tell us some stories, Mother." Mansandaba sat down on the shore. She held the shell to her ear, and she began, "Kwesuka Sukela." And this is how stories began.
In a village there was a very old man. Every day, people came to the old man complaining about the same problems. One day, the old man told them a joke. Everyone laughed and laughed. After a few minutes, the old man told them the joke again. A few of the people smiled. The old man told them the joke a third time. This time, no one laughed at all. The old man told them, "You cannot laugh at the same joke over and over. So why are you always crying about the same problem?"
The Two-Colored Coat.
Two boys were great friends. They promised they would remain friends forever. When they got older, they built their houses opposite each other. A small path formed a border between their two farms. One day, a trickster came from the village. He decided to play a trick on the friends. He clothed himself in a two-color coat. One side of the coat was red, and the other side was blue. The trickster walked along the narrow path between the houses of the friends. The two men were working opposite each other in their fields. The trickster made noise as he passed. He wanted to make sure each man looked up and saw him passing. At the end of the day, one friend said to the other, "Did you see that man today with his beautiful red coat?" "Do you mean the blue coat?" the other replied. "No, his coat was red. I saw the man clearly as he walked between us," said the first. "You are wrong," said the other man. "I saw it too, and it was blue." "I know what I saw," said the first man. "The coat was red." "You do not know anything," the second man replied angrily. "It was blue." The two men argued over and over. They insulted each other, and then they began beating each other. The trickster returned. He watched the two fighting men. He listened to their shouts. "Our friendship is over." The trickster laughed, and he showed them his two-colored coat. The men were angry. They shouted, "We have lived side by side all our lives, like brothers. Now you have started a war between us." The trickster replied, "Do not blame me for the fight. Both of you are wrong, and both of you are right. What each one saw was true. You are fighting because you only looked at my coat from your own side of the path. You did not think there was another way of looking at the situation."